Do you want your Alhaitham to do damage like this? Then stick till the end of this video. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing the Alhaitham's guide, and firstly we are going to talk about his talents. So you might think that you need to upgrade his skill first, as I thought too, but actually you are not getting almost anything from the skill upgrade, because these stats are staying the same all the time, and you're getting a little bit of the boost up here, and that's about it. So the most important talent to upgrade would be his normal attack, because all the multipliers are over his normal attack. And the second one would be burst, so the last one is actually skill. The burst is doing highest damage of his kit, and the most of the damage is doing his skill when you are using it. But you need to upgrade normal attack, because if you don't, then your skill is not going to do that much damage. So upgrade the normal attack first, burst second, and then the skill, and you will be good to go. So when we are talking about the weapon for the Alhaitham, his signature weapon, the Light of Foliar Incision, is really boosting his performance. My friend has Alhaitham too, and he doesn't have his weapon, so the difference between my damage and his damage, with let's say similar stats, is around 30% less without his signature weapon. So you would want to go for it. Don't listen to the others. I have all C0 R1 5-star characters except Kazuha and few others maybe. But for example, when you are talking about Alhaitham, well, then you are getting a real boost from his weapon. So go for it if you can. If you can't, well, if the character is something you want more than weapon, well, go for the second character. And of course, Alhaitham's weapon is more important than his Constellations, and we are going to talk about it in a second. But let's find him a second option for weapon if you didn't get his signature one. Haran is not that bad as the second option, and Miss Splitter too, but they don't compare in terms of the damage they deal in comparison to the Foliar. So you have the other options from the 4 stars, maybe even Ellie Flash is good option. I didn't really try anything. My friend tried the Sapwood Blade and it wasn't that bad actually. Of course his Sapwood Blade was at level 90, so he was the one trying it, not me. The other options, you could technically use even Iron Sting, but you know, the most important thing is Elemental Mastery, although crit stats really play a big role in Alhaitham's damage. So his artifacts are actually going to be Gilded Dreams, because you're going to use him as DPS, and if you have Nahida, well, you are going to use her with Deepwood, because she is the one that is going to enable your Alhaitham the boost of Dendro resistance decreased for the enemies. And when it comes to Alhaitham, of course, as I said, the crit substats are the most important ones. So you will see high crit rate rolls here. And when you are coming to sand, you will need Elemental Mastery 1, because Alhaitham's attack is scaling from the Elemental Mastery. So his damage is going to be boosted the most from the Elemental Mastery sand than it would be actually boosted from the attack one. For the goblet, of course, you are going for the Dendro damage bonus. I'm still struggling to get a good Dendro damage bonus goblet, because as you can see here, I'm not that lucky with the substats. Here this was the 4-liner and yep, it ended terribly. And I got of course a new goblet, but that is completely terrible. And the last one, well, it depends how much crit rate did you get from the other artifacts, but you are mainly going for the crit in the main stat and the substat. Of course, try going for the attack. I was hoping that all of these rolls are going to go to the crit rate, but it didn't happen. And if you can, it would be great to get more elemental mastery. Now to talk about the constellations, as I said earlier, you would want to go for the weapon instead of the constellations, and here is why. So as you can see here, his first constellation is going to decrease the cooldown for his skill, and I'll tell you as the C0 user that that is complete waste. I have Raiden, Kusanali and Kokomi in my team. It doesn't matter if you have anyone else, but when I use skill from Raiden, skill from Kokomi, skill and burst from Kusanali, well, those 8 or 9 seconds that are cooldowns for the skill to come back again are almost done, or his skill is already ready to use. So the first constellation is complete waste. You don't need it. Don't go for the first constellation if you're not going for more. And the other thing is that when you are using charge attack, you are creating one mirror with that charge attack or plunge attack. It doesn't matter, but let's say that you can't do plunge attack, that you can only use your charge attacks to create those mirrors. So you will create that mirror, and then you can use your burst, which will create 2 or 3 more mirrors. It depends if you used that one that you created 1 second ago, and you will see that even if you didn't have your skill ready, well, you will have it now, and you will have max mirrors, which will enable you to do max damage. Let's continue. The second constellation is pretty good. You're getting 200 elemental mastery, and that would be a great boost for Alhaitham. I know that with Nahida he is doing a lot more damage, so I guess even 200 more elemental mastery would be pretty amazing boost. Now to skip the third and fifth, the fourth constellation is nice boost, but for the fourth constellation I don't see it being that much worth going for. And now for the sixth one, this is the crazy stuff. So you are getting 10% crit rate and 70% crit damage, although you will need to have 3 mirrors all the time to have that boost. When you do have that, well, I guess the damage boost is pretty ridiculous. And of course, to actually let you have the maximum mirrors all the time, the first part of the constellation is actually to generate those mirrors after you use burst. So the stats that you are looking for would be over 70%. If you can get even over 80% of crit rate, that would be amazing. And of course, if you can, look for more than 250 crit damage. The energy recharge is not actually something that he so desperately needs. You have Kusanali and Raiden in my team, and they are generating pretty much the most energy that I'm getting. So having only 112% energy recharge is more than enough for me. Now of course, Dendro damage bonus is from the goblet and some passive boosts. Now for the elemental mastery, that would maybe be interesting on how much do you really need. Well, I guess it's over 300. That would be okay, but higher you can go, the better it will be. The attack is not something that he really needs. As you can see here, I don't have even 1500 attack, and I'm over 400 elemental mastery. And he's doing over 90k with his burst. So I guess it's a good trade of the stats, and I'm pretty pleased with his build at the moment. I want to bring his crit rate up higher, at least 10 or 15% if that is possible. and I guess I'll be almost done with his build then. For the end we are going to talk about his teams, and the team that I'm using is with Raiden, Ahida and Kokomi. You might find it weird a little bit, but you should know that Raiden is actually using her skill, and her skill is making a wide cut, so all the apples down are going to get hyper bloomed and you will not have any problems with activating that. So you do not need Cookie. You do not need Cookie if you have Raiden. That's the first thing. And the Kokomi is just amazing healer. So practically I cannot die when I'm using Kokomi. And you should try this team if you have all these characters. Now many other players will tell you that you do not need even Kusanali for Alhaitham to work. And yes, that is true, but Kusanali is boosting you for 250 elemental mastery. Just think about it. And she's the only character that can keep you boosted your damage by decreasing enemies' Dendro resistance, because her skill is going to activate every time Raiden's skill is activated, or in other words, every second or third attack you make with Alhaitham. So Raiden and Kusanali are the best duo that you can make for this team. And if instead of Kokomi, I was thinking to put the Bennett and try maximum damage for the Alhaitham. So it would look something like this. Now from the Benny we are getting his boost from the burst, and we are getting more boost from the artifacts. So I guess I'll give it a try in the next showcase video. But now for the free to play, as others like to say it that way, the teams for the free to plays that only have Alhaitham and no one else, yes, that team would look something like this.
There's still a long road ahead.
And if you want to boost only your Alhaitham's damage, then you will have Deepwood on Traveler, you will have Tenacity on Cookie, and you will have Noblesse on Xingqiu. And that would be the maximum that you can boost your Alhaitham. Now, instead of Xingqiu, you could also bring back Bennett, and you could ignore Bloom and Hyperbloom and go straight for the only spread damage, so all the damage that is produced will be only from the Alhaitham. But we're going to try it the other day. For now, this is everything from this video, and I'll see you in the next one, where we are going to do the Raiden's guide.
Bow before me, worm!
There is no escape.
Sure!
Minute to memory. Share my knowledge.
Here you are. I am the all-knowing God. How bold.
Shine down. Rust and Reebit. Hate.
Kneel! Burn to a oblivion!
Let's move out. Let's move out.
Reality is pain! Good riddance, cruel world!
Let's leave her a little. Ah! Yeah.
Not possible.
Illusion shattered. Hold the line. The Temple of Wisdom.
The process of elimination. Here you are. I can't lose it all again.